Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you all so much for joining Amtrak Vacations, as today's presentation is the Music Cities of America. Once again, we got a great turnout, and first and foremost, let me just take a minute to introduce myself. For those of you that have joined me on previous presentations, thank you all so much. And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy today's presentation. As always, I promise to make it short and sweet and also answer as many questions as I can at the end. But before I move into today's presentation on Music Cities of America, first I want to mention at the end of today's presentation, as always, we will be giving away a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card to one lucky person. So stay tuned to see if you are that winner. Also, we have some exciting specials, everybody. So, in fact, today we got something that we're announcing that's above and beyond what we've ever offered for any new bookings that you make with us or through your local travel agent. So with that in mind, everybody, we will go right into the presentation. However, I do want to encourage all of you as I go through today's presentation, any questions that you have, please feel free to type those away in the question box. And again, as I mentioned just a minute ago, I will do my very best to answer as many as we can at the end of today's presentation, which is scheduled to be approximately 45 minutes. Okay, so with that in mind, everyone, why Amtrak Vacations? Now, I see we have a lot of new folks joining us, and once again, we have over 1,000 people in attendance between all of our sessions today, which is just wonderful. So again, thank you all so much. So why Amtrak Vacations? A few years ago, we took a survey of many of our travelers from all over the world, not just here in the United States, and really asked them why. And one of the top reasons, which I'm sure is probably the same for some of you joining us here today, is it is a bucket list experience. Traveling on Amtrak across the United States or to some of these great music cities that we have right here is truly something not to miss out on. Also, room to roam. We want you to get up, walk around, stretch your legs, go to the observation car, go to the dining car. Also know that when you book any of these packages with us or through your local travel agent, it is less hassle. Everything now is electronic, so e-ticketing, e-documents, okay? We make it nice and easy for each and every one of you. City-to-city service, I'll use Penn Station as an example, right in the heart of New York City. Some of you may be able to hear an accent as I'm presenting here today. I'm located in the Boston area, and really Penn Station as an example, as well as many great Amtrak stations throughout the country, is really getting you into the heart of the city. In the case of Penn Station, you're within walking distance of Times Square, all the great Broadway shows. So again, keep that in mind. Also, satisfy your hunger. Anytime any of you upgrade to either a roomette or a bedroom, which would be part of our sleeper category, all of your meals are included on board the overnight portion of your train. So definitely keep that in mind, and I'll be talking about that in just a little while, okay? But no, regardless if they're included because you're in a sleeper or they're at an additional cost, if you're in coach seating, the cuisine is great. You got lots of great choices to choose from. And speaking of choices, everyone, flexibility. That's the nice thing when it comes to any of these great packages. And we here at Amtrak Vacations can not only take care of your hotels, your meals, your sightseeing tours, but we also take care of the rail portion of your vacation as well. And with Amtrak, as many of you may be aware, there's multiple departures daily throughout certainly all the major cities, in particular many of the major music cities across America. And speaking of across America, everyone, take a look at the map right here. This always surprises a lot of our travelers, just all the great cities and destinations that Amtrak actually travels to in the United States. Some interesting trivia to share with all of you. Last year, there was over 31 million people that traveled on board Amtrak, over 31 million people, and they came from all over the world. As you can see, Amtrak pretty much travels throughout all the major states in the United States with the exception of two. South Dakota, and Wyoming. So with that in mind, we will kind of give you a little more fun trivia before we move into some of these packages. Interestingly enough, most of our travelers, a good majority of them, which all of you can do, you can start and or end your rail vacation from your local Amtrak station. Or if you choose, you could fly to the starting and or ending point. Many of our travelers sometimes will take the train right from your local station to the destination, go on the trip, and enjoy the wonderful rail vacation, and then at the end, fly home, or vice versa. You can certainly book your own flights, or your local travel agent can help you with those arrangements as well. However, one thing's for sure, everyone, on the train, there is no middle seat, which is nice. So keep that in mind. I thought you would get a kick out of this picture. There is no middle seat on board Amtrak, which is wonderful. So everybody has a great seat. So regardless if you fly or not, when you're on board Amtrak, whether it's for 2 or 3 hours or it's an overnight journey to some of the great cities, there are no middle seats. So keep that in mind. As you can see on the right-hand side, very, very spacious. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about the seating and sleeping accommodations on board Amtrak later in the presentation. But just to kind of start out, I just wanted to highlight the different types of rail vacations that we offer. The first one is actually our most popular category, and in fact, that's going to be the majority of the rail journeys and vacations I'm going to highlight here today. They are our independent journeys, and these are typically multi-city journeys, okay? Anywhere from 5, 7 to 10 days in length. This is more for those of you who want enough structure but want to have that flexibility and leisure time to be able to do what you want, where, and how you would like. We also have family adventures, multi-generational trips. So for those of you that are looking to travel with your children or grandchildren, we have packages available for you. We have rail and sail packages out of Seattle out to beautiful Alaska on some of the major cruise lines. We have 3, 4, and 5-day rail getaways. Of course, national parks, always certainly one of our most popular areas in the United States. And one of the last points I wanted to mention, which I think is so important, is any trip that I highlight here today, any rail vacation that features the Music Cities, any of these trips can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like, to include as much or as little as you would like. For those of you that have attended my previous presentations, as I always like to mention, whatever rail vacation you're thinking about, chances are we may already have a package that's been created. In fact, most of our packages, everyone, has actually been created and helped designed by all of our travelers over the years. That's how we create them, okay? But if there is a certain area and destination and certain amount of days that you are looking for, just know you can customize any of these rail vacations. So with that in mind, everybody, welcome aboard as we journey, and I feature one of the first great rail packages, rail vacations that we have, and it's actually a new one that's doing tremendous for us. In fact, we already are getting tons and tons of bookings already for next year, and that is our Music Cities of America, which is exactly the title of this presentation. What you'll see if you look at the map, everyone, this to me is really special because it's not just traveling on board Amtrak, which of course is a wonderful experience. As you can see, from Memphis down to New Orleans, we travel on the train known as City of New Orleans. As you can see, it's trained during the day. Okay, there's no overnight train that's from Memphis to New Orleans because we travel during the day. But then what we've done is we've included car rental from Memphis out to Nashville. This is a great highlight. It's already included, everyone, in the package. Now, just so you all know, it's only about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from Memphis to Nashville. It's very close. Interestingly enough, on the drive, you'll actually drive through Jackson, Tennessee, which was made famous by Johnny Cash. So a little history along the way. But this is a great, great itinerary. As I mentioned, we do start out in Memphis. So if you're wondering, well, how do I get to Memphis? As I mentioned earlier, you can start your journey right from your local Amtrak station. In fact, there's, again, over 500 different stations throughout the United States that you can start and or end your trip. So you could start right from your local station and head out to Memphis, or again, you could fly round trip if you choose to on your own, or fly one way, whatever you prefer. Lots and lots of options. Of course, Memphis, home of the blues, okay, and home of Graceland, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in just a little bit. But this is one of the great cities that's included. Of course, a even bigger city is Nashville. And again, we include this because we include round-trip car rental, because Amtrak, the train, does not physically go to Nashville. But of course, Nashville's such a great city. It's a city you don't want to miss. As you can see, we include admission to the Johnny Cash Museum. We even have a performance included at the Grand Ole Opry, which is such a great treat. So when you're there, you'll have an opportunity. The show typically is about 2 to 3 hours long. It's typically in the evening. We have a sightseeing tour included. This is awesome. Nashville, of course, known as the country music capital of the United States. And then one of my favorite cities is New Orleans. Now, when we're in New Orleans, we'll have a sightseeing walking tour or a battlefield cruise of New Orleans included. So really, you're not only getting Memphis, you're getting Nashville, and you're getting New Orleans all in one package, everyone. 10 days, 9 nights. And as you can see on the left-hand side, this includes hotel accommodations. And the beautiful part about this rail vacation, as well as all the rail vacations I'm going to highlight here today, everyone, you also get to choose what style hotels you would like to stay at. And there's a wide range of hotels. So for those of you that are looking to save a little bit on the cost of your rail vacation, we have plenty of 3- and 4-star properties, all the way up to 5-star, 5-star being the best, okay? So whether it's Holiday Inn, Hilton, Marriott, Westin, Sheraton, I could go right through the list. Again, you get to choose. As you can see, this trip also includes one-way Amtrak in coach accommodations. Obviously, lots of sightseeing tours included. And as I mentioned, it does include car rental. That's a big, big highlight. Now, for those of you that want to focus more on certain cities and maybe are not looking for a trip as long as 10 days, but maybe you want a trip that's a little bit shorter, you may want to consider our New Orleans Ultimate Getaway. Here's a great 4-day, 3-night package. And again, in New Orleans, we have plenty of hotels to choose from. I was actually just there recently myself in May. And just to give everyone a sampling of some of the hotels we use the Wyndham, the Holiday Inn, the Hotel Monteleone, Marriott, Residence Inn, Sheraton, okay? Again, you get to choose. And one thing to keep in mind is certainly if you're flexible in your travel, and your local travel agent can also share this with you as well, we have what we call shoulder season or edge season. So certain times of the year, it's going to be a little less expensive. Also, many times if you were to stay, of course, at a Holiday Inn versus a Marriott, well, that could be less expensive in price. Many times if you leave early in the morning on a train versus a little later in the morning, that could also help as far as finding the right price and package for you. So just know you definitely have plenty of options. Now you can see on the second point it mentions dinner at a local popular restaurant. Well, I could tell you most of the time that restaurant is known as Court of Two Sisters. To this day, everybody, I still think, and I can't wait to taste Bananas Foster. It was the first time I ever had it years ago with my dad when I traveled down there to beautiful New Orleans. I actually was there recently, as I mentioned, and believe it or not, everyone, I actually had gator, which is very good, by the way. And you have the white meat and the dark meat, so there's different types of cuts that you can have. I actually had turtle soup. I got to tell you, everyone, it doesn't sound as unique as it tastes. It's actually delicious. Gumbo, jambalaya, right? Over, of course, in New Orleans, you have that Cajun-style food. So much history in New Orleans, not to mention the history of music. And you will absolutely get that experience when you're in New Orleans. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go through. Now, some of you may want to just go to Memphis just for a getaway, okay? Here we have a great 3-day, 2-night package. So as I mentioned earlier, you have the Music Cities of America, which is 10 days. It's Memphis, Nashville, and New Orleans. Some of you may want to just go to New Orleans, as I mentioned. Others of you may want to just go to Memphis. where, of course, you can experience all that Beale Street has to offer. At Memphis, of course, home of the blues. This is where B.B. King certainly made himself famous. It also is only about 15 minutes away from Graceland, which is the home of Elvis Presley. So again, lots of history here. So here's just a nice 3-day, 2-night package. Now we have another different version similar to Music Cities, except this package, everyone, is called Jazz, Blues, Rock and Roll. This is one of our top 5 most popular itineraries from our travelers all over the world, not just here in the United States. As you can see, 2 nights in Chicago. Again, you get to choose what hotel you would like to stay at. As an example, I was there recently, and we use Holiday Inn, which is great, has a shopping center located inside. There's also the Westin, which is on Michigan Avenue. We use multiple properties on or nearby Michigan Avenue, which is really the main area you want to be in Chicago. Then from there, we board on City of New Orleans. Now, as you can see here, and I want to point this out, we do travel overnight on the train, and that's important to keep in mind because the pricing on this trip and any of our independent trips, rather, pricing is always based in coach seating, which is the main seating. However, you have the option, whether it's on this rail vacation or on any of our rail vacations, to upgrade to either a roomette or a bedroom. And I do have to mention, roomettes for us are by far our most popular category of any of our sleepers. I can tell you firsthand, many times I have seen the cost to upgrade from a coach seat to a roomette on an average is only $100 to $200 extra per person. And that not only is going to get you your own private accommodations, but as I mentioned at the beginning, you also get all your meals included on the overnight portion of your journey. So from Chicago down to Memphis, whatever meals are offered during that journey, whether it's dinner and breakfast, okay, you will have all your meals included, and you also have first choice as to what time you would like to have your meals. So that's a big highlight when, again, you're in a roomette or a bedroom. Now, as you can see, we do spend 2 nights in Memphis before the remainder of the tour in New Orleans. Now, Chicago, if we have any Cubs fans on today's presentation, congratulations on the Cubs getting to the World Series. And for any folks from Cleveland, congratulations to you as well. As you can see, we do include a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. And I do have to share a little personal story with everyone. I've traveled quite a bit myself, as well as with my wife and 3 children. And I got to tell you, on a recent trip that I went on with my wife and 3 children, we happened to go to Washington, D.C. But one of the big highlights of our trip was the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. And I share that because anytime you see a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour included, just know that is a great value. Because when we were in the city, whether it's D.C., Chicago, San Francisco, any of the great cities, it's a great way to get in and around the city without having to get a taxi or Uber or walk too long to some of the sites. It really gets you in and around the city, and it's very convenient. Now, of course, this trip also does include Memphis, which we do treat everyone to a platinum tour of Graceland, which is such a great highlight. So you get a chance to go and experience that tour before ending in New Orleans. So definitely a few different options to see this great city of New Orleans. You know, New Orleans, certainly for those of you that are familiar, is the birthplace of jazz. Some of our famous musicians today got their start, or certainly are from, the New Orleans, Louisiana area. Harry Connick Jr., Winston Marsalis, Louis Armstrong, just to name a few. It's also very, very popular for marching bands. I can attest to that firsthand. I play the drums, used to play in the marching band myself through high school, and some of the absolute best marching bands that I've ever seen are in New Orleans. Very, very common to see that all throughout the city. Interestingly enough, of course, the blues is also very popular. They have a great area, the French Quarter, if you're familiar with that area. Just a great area filled with all different types of nightlife and different types of venues to listen to all types of music. Of course, again, jazz is by far one of the most popular. In fact, the earliest form of jazz was known as Dixieland. That was the term used years ago. And what's interesting about New Orleans, everyone, I want to share this with everyone, is not only in the architecture and the cuisine do you have a Spanish and French influence, right? From, as I mentioned, Cajun food and the different types of uh, wrought iron in front of many of the different buildings. Uh, but also when it comes to music, in particular jazz, you have a strong influence from African American and Cuban, which really in essence is what evolved most of the sounds of New Orleans. And of course over the years then you had other influences, but it certainly is absolutely one of the most popular cities of America, known for music, as well as, of course, its delicious cuisine. So definitely keep this package in mind. Keep New Orleans in mind. This right here, everyone, 9 days, 8 nights, 7 nights hotel accommodations, one-way Amtrak and coach seating from Chicago down to New Orleans. Again, pricing on this itinerary is based in coach, but you have the option to upgrade. We include a platinum tour of Graceland, as I mentioned, uh, dinner at a popular restaurant, typically known as the Court of Two Sisters, which I just had the pleasure of traveling to recently. Now, for those of you that may want to just see more of Chicago, similar to our New Orleans getaway, we also have a Chicago Ultimate Getaway. This trip itself, 4 days, 3 nights. Now, Chicago, okay, besides, of course, being very excited for one of their sports teams in the World Series, it is known for its blues, right? Blues Brothers. We're all familiar with that. Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, Bo Diddley, just to name a few big names. You also have Jennifer Hudson, who's, of course, a very popular musician. Nat King Cole. There's so much to see and do in this great city, everyone. So if you choose to spend more time in this great city of Chicago, here's the perfect package for you. 4 days, 3 nights. And one item I want to mention on this particular picture is on the right-hand side. It says Chicago City Pass. Look at all those different items that are included. The Shed Aquarium, Sky Deck, Willis Tower, okay, the Field Museum. I will mention a story when I was in Chicago and I was waiting to go inside Willis Tower, which was formerly known as Sears Tower, for those of you that are familiar with that tower, certainly one of the tallest buildings in the United States. I remember waiting outside, and there was a long line outside, and then I looked to the left of the line, and there was only a line of about 6 or 7 people, and I looked above their heads, and it said, City Pass ticket holders. Well, that is what this is. So not only do you save time, not only do you save money with getting discounted entrance to these great sites, but you also save a lot of time without having to wait in the line, certainly if you're traveling during the busiest time of the year. Now, this one in particular, everyone, Route 66 by rail, I had to include, right? Why not? Route 66, such a great song, of course, famous song by Chuck Berry, and it has certainly been sung by many other artists over the years, but this, of course, features some of these great music cities, such as Chicago, which we just talked about. Also visit St. Louis, where you get a chance to travel to the top of the Gateway Arch. And then from there, we feature some other cities, not necessarily known for its music, but certainly cities you don't want to miss out on, certainly at certain times of the year, such as Albuquerque, which is known for its balloon festival in October, the world-famous Grand Canyon. They say this is one of the 7 wonders of the world. They estimate over 5 million people visit the Grand Canyon every single year, everyone. So why not experience some of our beautiful national parks as well as some of these other great music cities along your journey? Los Angeles, certainly no different. This trip, 14 days, 13 nights. And again, remember, on any of these rail vacations that I'm highlighting here today, any of these can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like. So if you like this trip but you want to only travel for 7 to 10 days, again, we can shorten it and make it exactly the way you would like. And speaking of shortening it, some of you may want to just spend time in Los Angeles. So just like New Orleans, just like Chicago, we also have a Los Angeles getaway. This one is 3 days, 2 nights. It can be 4 days or 5 days if you choose. There's also a round-trip rail that goes out to the Grand Canyon from Los Angeles. But of course, Los Angeles, there's a lot of great music venues. some of the bands such as The Doors, even some of the newer bands, Guns N' Roses, for some of you that are familiar with that band, made it big in Los Angeles. Now, speaking and continuing on with the West Coast, we also have the Pacific Northwest, and this features 3 awesome cities, everyone, for music: San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. Now, as you can see here, similar to the Jazz, Blues, Rock, and Roll that had an overnight train from Chicago down to Memphis, this one has an overnight train from San Francisco up to Portland. Okay, again, pricing is based in coach with the option to upgrade to a roomette, which I highly encourage. San Francisco, just such a great city, known for many bands back in the day, such as Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin. They made it big back in the 60s. So again, you get a chance to learn a lot about just some of the great musicians of the past and of the future. From there, we traveled to Portland. Now, Portland is known for what's called indie music, indie rock, better yet. They have a term in Portland called Portlandia, which basically means art, entertainment in one, and it's really the next wave of generation of indie rock. And then you go to Seattle, which is known for its what they call grunge rock, grunge music. Some of the famous bands such as Foo Fighters, Nirvana, even some of the great musicians of the past, Jimi Hendrix, Ray Charles. So you've got some great history when it comes to music in each of these great cities, as well as, of course, the beautiful sightseeing along your journey, such as the Golden Gate Bridge right here in San Francisco. You know, they estimate it takes about 4 years to paint this bridge from one side to the next, from one side to the other. It takes about 4 years. Pretty amazing. From there, as I mentioned, we traveled to Portland, and Portland is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. Very affordable to live. As I mentioned, some great up-and-coming bands and musicians. Just an awesome, awesome city. And then, of course, Seattle, known for its Space Needle and known for Starbucks, believe it or not, which was founded back in 1971. And it's amazing to think how global Starbucks is today. So just a great, great trip. 8 days, 7 nights, and as I mentioned on the other packages, whether it was New Orleans, whether it was Memphis, whether it was Chicago, this also can be done all together, as you can see here, San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle, or we have getaway packages to each of these cities as well for 3 to 4 days. So again, you get to decide, just like I mentioned at the beginning, how long or how short you want to travel to each of these great areas. Now, a few other packages I just want to highlight before we talk about the rail. Savannah and Charleston, here's a nice getaway trip. So again, you're going to have certainly different types of music. Certainly they have a strong influence in country. Gospel music is very big in this area. Certainly a very, very beautiful city. Springtime, great time to travel to either of these great cities. And the last 2 that I want to mention, first one is American Heritage. I can't not do a presentation without, of course, including Boston, where I'm located, because, again, you get some great music here, some great bands such as Boston. How about Aerosmith, everyone, right? For some of those rock fans out there. New York City, of course, there's so many great bands, so much to see and do. New York City, you know, they estimate about 5 million people take the subway every week during the business week. There's over 40,000 restaurants just within New York City alone. Absolutely fascinating. Of course, you see the Statue of Liberty in the bottom right-hand corner, and then our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., which actually has a thriving underground music scene coming up. So stay tuned for that. But this is a great package, 10 days, 9 nights. And again, if those of you who want to just have a getaway 3 or 4 days to Boston, or maybe do Boston and New York, where you can travel on the Northeast Regional train in between, or even the Acela, we truly can take care of that, or your local travel agent, and book it all together into one package. And speaking of one package, and certainly I didn't want to save this, do this presentation without saving one of the best for last, and that is our New York City getaway with Radio City Christmas Spectacular Show included. This is selling out like crazy, everyone. This is doing tremendous for us. 3 days, 2 nights. We do include tickets to the Radio City Christmas Spectacular featuring the Rockettes, as well as we have a holiday lights tour included. Departures are starting the middle of November, and they go until right after the New Year's. Space is selling out. This is a great, great package. Of course, we do New York all year long. So for those of you who want to go to New York, and maybe it's not during the holidays, we have departures all year long. Again, multiple choices as far as hotel accommodations you can choose from. But this is such a great, great city, and certainly known for its music, let alone its Broadway shows. So with that in mind, let me just kind of segue over into now the seating and sleeping accommodations on board Amtrak, okay? So as I mentioned earlier, certainly when you're traveling during the day, everyone, just rest assured you are comfortable. As I mentioned at the very beginning, I hope you like that picture I put in. There's no middle seats when it comes to traveling on board Amtrak. Very comfortable. Look at the legroom, everyone. As many of us know, myself included, we have to pay a premium to upgrade to business class or first class on many of the major U.S.-based airlines to get this type of legroom. This is our main seating on board Amtrak, everyone. It's so easy. As I mentioned, I travel with my family. In fact, we do a trip every year. I did Boston to New York last year. This year I did Boston to Washington, D.C. I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. They loved it, everyone. Plenty of things to keep them busy. They loved going to the dining car. It was awesome. Okay, you also have some good space above the overhead. However, for those of you that are traveling overnight or want to travel overnight on board the train, I highly, highly recommend, as your local travel agent would as well, to definitely upgrade or consider upgrading to either a roomette or a bedroom. As I mentioned earlier, roomettes are by far our most popular category of any of our sleepers, okay? As you can see, they fit 2 people inside of a roomette. Typically, they face each other during the day. They have a nice big picture window. You have the option. You can stay right there in your room, enjoy the scenery, or what I encourage all of you to do is just to get up, walk around, go to the observation car where you have even much bigger windows. It's a little more open. You get a chance to walk around, stretch your legs, okay? In the evening, the 2 chairs that are sitting towards each other, they fold down to create the lower bed, and then above the window, there's a bunk bed that actually folds down as well, okay? You have your own private attendant on board. In fact, everyone in the same sleeper car has their own private attendant. So it's typically 1 attendant per sleeper car, okay? And in the sleeper car, they typically have about 8 to 10 roomettes and about 4 to 5 bedrooms, okay? You also, as I mentioned earlier, get first choice as far as what time you would like to have either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Now, one thing to keep in mind is for those of you who definitely want your own bathroom and shower inside of your room, then you would want to consider upgrading one more step to a bedroom. Bedrooms have their own bathroom and shower inside the room. If you're in a roomette, we have what we call a private yet shared bathroom and shower, where basically there's 2 to 3 bathrooms and 2 to 3 showers on the first level of the sleeper car, and that's only accessible to the other people in roomettes and bedrooms on that one sleeper car, okay? Again, as I mentioned, roomettes are our most popular category and our most affordable. However, again, you know yourselves the best. If you want your own private bathroom and shower inside of your room, then definitely give us a call or contact your local travel agent, because whether it's roomettes or bedrooms, they do sell out very fast, okay? Whatever you choose, though, rest assured you're going to be comfortable. You're going to meet great people from all over, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. And keep in mind the cuisine on board, dining on the train. My previous life was at a major cruise line, and I got to tell you, everyone, when I came on board just about 4 years ago, I was so delightfully surprised at the cuisine available. So let me give you an example, everyone. If you're in a roomette or a bedroom, as I mentioned, you do get all your meals included on the overnight portion of your journey. It is a sit-down meal, okay? There's a waiter and waitress on board. Food is fresh, made to order. So in the morning, you'll have a choice of omelets, pancakes, waffles, croissants, coffee, tea, scones. Lunchtime, cheeseburgers, turkey clubs, chicken panini, right? In the evening, salad, pasta, fish, okay? Steak, lots of great options, not to mention the dessert is delicious as well. So with that in mind, everyone, where does Amtrak travel to? Again, Amtrak travels all over the country, and we here at Amtrak Vacations can not only take care of your rail, we can take care of your rail, your hotels, your meals, your sightseeing tours. We do car rentals as well. It truly is your one-stop shop when it comes to a rail vacation, a true rail vacation, and that's what Amtrak Vacations can do for you. Now, you can view some of these packages a little more in depth if you'd like to, or certainly give us or your local travel agent a call to learn more about these great itineraries. And that right here is included on the next picture. So again, everyone, our agents are here waiting to help each and every one of you. And when I tell you about the exciting discount that we are offering for each and every one of you who took the time to attend, you may just want to be calling today, either us or your local travel agent, as you can see here. So here's the few options on how you can book any of these great, exciting rail vacations. And again, remember, any of these rail holidays, rail vacations, any of them can be customized. I do encourage you to consider looking at our travel protection option. It basically allows you to cancel for any reason whatsoever right up until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, business day prior, and you'll get a full refund back minus the cost of the travel protection option, which many times is very, very minimal in costs, 40, 50, or more, depending on the length of your rail vacation, okay? So keep that in mind. So here's the exciting part that I feel I'm excited to share about the presentation, and that is the everyday discount. So here's one of many great updates I have for you, okay? So if any of you qualify, if you're a AAA member, you can save 10% when you use your AAA card. And if you have children who are looking to travel and they're between the ages of 2 and 12, they get 50% off, everyone, on the rail portion of the Amtrak vacation. So now you can see why I've traveled the last 2 years in a row with my wife and 3 children. I pay half price for my children. Now, for any of you that are over 62 years old, it's 15% off on the rail portion. If you're military, first off, thank you for your service. You get a 10% discount off on the rail portion. So keep that in mind. This pertains to the rail portion of your vacation, okay? So the rail portion of the trip. So it also is something to keep in mind. These are not combinable. So for instance, if you're a AAA member and you're over 62, you can't combine them both, but what we do, or your local travel agent, we will give you the biggest discount that applies. So in that case, if you were a AAA member and you're over 62, you would get the senior discount, which is 15%, again, on the rail portion. By the way, everyone, that's above and beyond what I'm about to tell you right now. So that's automatic. If you qualify for any of these, you pick one, which is going to be the biggest opportunity for you, whatever one is the biggest discount, and now here's where the extra discounts apply. Now, these are only for new bookings, new reservations, okay, that you make with us or through your local travel agent. So on any Ultimate Rail Getaway trip, everyone, which, for instance, is the New Orleans trip that I mentioned, okay, Chicago, if you go to New York and it's 4 days or longer, we are offering $75 off per couple, okay, otherwise $37 per person, okay, but $75 off per couple if you book with a small deposit before Friday of next week, okay? Friday, November 4th, just with the deposit, and that is for travel anytime this year or next year, all right? If you look right now on our website, you'll see any of our Ultimate Rail Getaways right now. We're only offering $50 off per couple, okay? Because you took the time to attend, let me just say thank you again. We're going to offer you and your friends and family $75 off per couple. Again, as long as you book with a small deposit before the end of the day on Friday, November 4th of next week. Again, our agents are here waiting to take each and every one of your calls. That number, our number rather, is down in the bottom right, 1-800-268-7252, or as I mentioned throughout the presentation, you also have that great option to also book through your local travel agent as well. So that's exclusive attendee discount number 1. Exclusive attendee discount number 2, everyone. is on select independent rail vacations, such as Music Cities of America, which is the first trip I showed everyone, Jazz, Blues, Rock and Roll, Route 66 by rail, Pacific Northwest. We are offering $300 off per couple, otherwise $150 per person. Also, if you book before the end of the day on Friday, November 4th. Again, this, if you go online, go to AmtrakVacations.com, you will see right now we are offering $200 off per couple. But again, because you took the time to attend, we've added an additional $100 per couple, bringing it to a total of $300 off per couple. And by the way, you want to refer to these promo codes when you book through us or your local travel agent. Okay, in this case, it's webinar OCT, webinar OCT. So again, this is $100 more than what we are offering right now to anyone else. Again, as long as you book with a small deposit before the end of Friday next week. And this also is good to travel anytime this year or anytime in 2017. And here's the last exciting piece of news I'm so excited to share with all of you, and I hope you are as well. We've never done this before, but we want to do something above and beyond. If any of you call today, and you call us or your local travel agent today, okay, we are going to offer an additional $50 off per couple, okay, otherwise $25 off per person. If you book any ultimate getaways, which again are 4 days or longer, or select independent rail vacations, which I just mentioned a few of those. So above and beyond what we're already offering them, if anyone calls today, again, either gives us a call or your local travel agent, we're going to offer an additional $50 off per couple, everyone. There's the promo code. Please feel free to write that down, webinar OCTEX, and this offer expires the end of the day today, Wednesday, October 26th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, otherwise 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're giving you all day. If you know what trip and destination you want to go to, tell your friends and family, give us a call, contact your local travel agent, and we will help you with each and every one of those reservations. So with that in mind, everyone, I see we have a lot of questions. And as I go through these questions, everyone, I want to encourage each of you to also feel free to type away any additional questions as I go through, okay? And we will do our very best. I will do my very best to answer as many as we can, all right? So the first thing I want to do, first and foremost, is we have $100 to give everyone. So the winner of today's $100 gift certificate is Diana CL. Diana CL, congratulations. You are today's winner of our $100 Amtrak Vacations gift certificate, which can be used anytime this year as well as up until the end of 2017. How great is that? So congratulations, Diana. So with that in mind, I see we have a lot of questions, which is great. So thank you all so much. So I'm going to just start reading the questions. And as I go through, again, everyone, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to type those away, and I will do my very best to answer them. Okay, so next question from Doris. Do you offer wheelchair accessibility? Absolutely, Doris. We do have some handicap accessible rooms available. Typically, they're very, very limited. So on an average, there's 2 handicap accessible rooms available per journey. So if that's something you are interested in, even if it's next year, even if you know you're not looking to travel until sometime next year, give us a call or contact your local travel agency because they are very, very limited. But they are available, so yes, absolutely. Okay. Next question from Lisa. Can you send the map? Great question, Lisa. Feel free, again, everyone, you can go on our website, AmtrakVacations.com. We actually have a map that you can look at. You can also download as well. So definitely take a look at that. Great question. Let's see here. How many hours ride is from Memphis to New Orleans? Great question, Juliet. So it's a train journey during the day. That's why you'll notice on that particular journey itself, we actually don't offer a roomette or a bedroom. But on an average, I could tell you people always enjoy, as far as the train itself, and that is on City of New Orleans as far as the name of the train. But from Memphis to New Orleans, I will actually check on that right now as far as distance-wise, just to see. I'm just pulling it up right now. So you're looking, it's a full day journey, so you're looking at about 8 hours or so, okay? But again, keep in mind, on any of our trains that are traveling throughout the day, we want you to get up, walk around, stretch your legs. Also know that the dining car is available. Of course, they have the snack car, the observation car, so definitely keep that in mind, okay? So great question, Juliet. And also, are meals served or brought to you in your roomette? Great question. Meals are typically served. So basically, the way it works is the attendant will come by all the folks, all of you and your friends and family that are in roomettes or bedroom, and ask you what time you would like to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And typically it's tables of 4. So if it's 2 people, they'll partner you up with 2 other people, which I got to tell you, I've had the pleasure of meeting so many people from literally all over the world that travel on board, and it kind of adds to the whole experience. So even when you do get seated with another couple or 2 other individuals traveling, it's always a lot of fun. Or if you're traveling as a single, we have a lot of single travelers as well. So keep that in mind. Next question, how well do they handle people with food allergies? Great question. We do have certainly food requests, and if you have any dietary needs, just let any of our staff here know. Certainly, again, they're here waiting to help each and every one of you, or you can certainly let your local travel agent know. But Amtrak's very flexible when it comes to special dietary requests, okay? So definitely want to mention that as well, okay? Let's see here, okay? Next question, let's see. What is the code for the ultimate special? Great question, Denise. So the code for the ultimate, any of the ultimate getaways, which is, again, any of our trips 4 days or longer, is webinar OCT ULT. So basically it's short for Webinar October Ultimate is what it's short for. So it's webinar OCT ULT, okay? Next question, can we combine to receive $350 off if booked today? Great question, Lisa. Yes, so this is actually a great question. It's actually a 2-part question. Can we combine to receive $350 off if we book today plus a AAA discount? The answer is yes, because we're offering $300 off per couple. And remember, that's per couple, okay? $300 off per couple on select independent journeys. Plus, if you are a AAA member, or you're 62 or older, or you're active military, okay? If you have children, then you'll get an additional discount. Again, that's just on the rail portion, just the rail only portion. But then today only, we're adding that extra $50 off per couple. So yes, Lisa, you are absolutely right. You would get all 3 of those items included. Again, only if you booked today. All right, so I hope that helps. Let's see here. These are great questions too as well. Regarding security at Amtrak, I can tell you, everyone, I travel quite often, obviously, on board the train. Pretty much in all the major train stations, which is really many of where these great music cities are located, there certainly is Amtrak security. In some of the major stations, of course, you also have some of the members of the National Guard. So to answer your question, yes, feel comfortable, feel rest assured, there's definitely security, certainly throughout all the major stations throughout the United States. So great question. Let's see here. Okay. Our next question from Walter, are all the packages paid in full when booked or deposit only with payoff by dates? Great question, Walter. All that's due on any of these packages that you're interested in, or certainly any packages that you want to customize, all that's due is just deposits. And funny enough, the next question is, how much are deposits? Deposits for us, everyone, on an average are only $100 to $250 per person. That's all that's due. We also have a payment plan that we're able to do. So for instance, if you book a trip today, for instance, like Lisa mentioned, so you can take advantage of all these great savings, but it's not departing until, say, July of next year, you can pay a little bit every month. You can pay a little bit every 2 or 3 months, All that would be due initially would just be the deposit, okay, not including the travel protection option if you decide you want to purchase that. And that will secure your space. I can tell you firsthand because I spend time with a lot of our travel agent partners who are just so wonderful, and all of our vacation consultants. Prices do fluctuate quite often, and rule of thumb is the best rates to get is the sooner you book them. So if you know where and when you want to go, again, give us a call, contact your local agent. But again, all that's due would be deposits, okay? Let's see here. Let's see, what is the price of the New York City Spectacular trip? Great question. I don't have that off the top of my head because right now it's fluctuating, but I can tell you it is our fastest booking trip right now that's traveling this year. So the price is right. It definitely is one of the more affordable packages that we have. You know, and I think as far as looking to go, as I mentioned, that pretty much starts the middle of April, okay, middle of April, everyone. Excuse me, middle of November, and it goes until right after the New Year as far as the New York City Radio City Spectacular. So I am going to check right now. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up right now because I'm going to check on it. Prices starting as low as $459 from $459. That's 3 days. That does not include rail. So depending on where you're starting or ending your trip, that does not include rail. That's hotel, you know, of course, the sightseeing tour and tickets to the Rockettes. So that is a great value, everyone. So hopefully that helps, Angela. Thank you for your question. All right. Let's see here. Next question from Shauna. Is there a way, if traveling alone, that you can let other passengers know that you would like to share a table at meals in order to meet other people? Great question, Shauna. Just so you know, your room attendant, because just so you know, when I travel, I always sit with other folks myself. She always will let you know that you'll be with other people. And usually rule of thumb is they'll let everyone know if they're traveling either in a pair of two or single travelers that you'll be sitting with other people. I could tell you, Shauna, you meet them once you actually sit down at the table, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and it's a great experience. To me, that is part of the journey. I had someone say to me recently, and I thought this was such a great point. They said, you know, if you really want to see America, then you travel by train because that's part of your vacation. And I thought that was such a great point. So anyway, I hope that helps. So anyway, with that in mind, like I said, everyone, I'm going to go back real quick, and I see we still have a few questions, but I'm going to just go back real quick just so everyone's on the same page. Okay, just one more time. Again, as a reminder, any of you interested in our Ultimate Rail Getaways 4 days or longer, as long as you book by next Friday with a small deposit, okay, we're going to offer $75 off per couple. And that webinar code is webinar OCT ULT. If any of you are interested in some of the select independent rail vacations, such as the Music Cities of America, Jazz, Blues, Rock, and Roll, just to name a couple, that also expires Friday of next week, November 4th. And again, all that's due is just deposit, and that is $300 off per couple. That code is webinar OCT. And last but certainly not least, something that we're very excited to announce is if you're interested in either of those vacations, if you book today, we're going to add an additional $50 off per couple. And again, this applies to new reservations, any new bookings that you make with us or through your local travel agent. So anyway, I hope that helps everyone. With that in mind, let me just sincerely say thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. As promised, I tried to keep it short and sweet, including questions. Thank you all so much. We had another great turnout today, and we still have more to come throughout the day. So very, very exciting. We did get a question to go back one slide, so I'm going to go back real quick to the last slide. By the way, the promo code on this one, if you do book today, and again, our agents are here waiting for each and every one of you to give us a call or certainly contact your local travel agent. So let us know, and we will help you and your friends and family out any way we can. So with that in mind, everybody, in conclusion, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I want to say thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you, your friends and family on board soon with Amtrak Vacations. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.